my life. Now, while it is true that video games often offer a release that cannot be matched by any other media, they don't come without their frustrations. If it's through a boss, an enemy, or what we're here to talk about today, a character. Characters in my eyes seem to come in three categories: great character, okay character, and dick character. But unfortunately, it seems that the last of those options is getting used more and more. And the problem with it is that it's completely deliberate. The companies know when a character sucks, they know! And more often than not, it's done completely on purpose, which pisses me off to no end. I get it if it's supposed to be a villain or something like that, but no! No character should be a dick on purpose. People play video games to escape frustrations and problems. So why would they put people like this in here? It makes zero sense. But it happens a lot. And no one likes them. No one. I hate these types of characters, and so do a whole lot of other people. And I approve of that. You see, this was much too big a project for my sanity to tackle alone, so 12 other fellow content makers have joined me to make this project. And maybe with their help, I won't go completely out of my mind. So, I hope you enjoy a year and a half's work. These are the top 13 dicks in video games. Let's do this. This is going to fucking kill me!
Here's an entry from Classic Mega Man. Enter... No, base! The same ones recolors used to make their characters. But back on topic. I label Base to be as big of a dick as the others on this list. Designed by Dr. Wily to be on par with Mega Man and Rush, Base ended up being more of a douche than being a threat. I despise his attitude, only caring about himself and occasionally his partner Treble, and wanting to be the strongest robot in the world. He tries to befriend Mega Man and Mega Man 7 after being saved by him in Shade Man stage, but it turns out that he did all that to take the super adapter part.
What an asshole!
He continues to fight Mega Man, but always gets his ass kicked. At least with Eggman and Bowser, they have the power and other qualities about them to make me like them as villains, but Base doesn't have this. But by the end, he's a damn joke. At this point, you have all the Robot Master weapons and the super adapter. This isn't Mega Man X we're talking about here. This is classic Mega Man, and Base can be owned easily. And I know this is related to an earlier point, but Base's arrogance pisses me off. It's why he loses so epically, and his personality makes me scream, "What a dick!"
In most cases, doctors are actually quite likable characters. Being people that help others' lives, you can't really go wrong. Unless you're from Cave Story. I've explained this character twice before, so do I need to explain it all again? Yes. In short, the Doctor came to the Mimiga Island along with Sue and the research team to help them with the project. But did he actually help them? Of course not, he's the bloody Doctor. The Doctor actually came to the island for his own personal gain, to take the King's crown and kill all the Mimigas in the process. He even kills some of your best friends in front of your own eyes. Not even the final boss with him is satisfying. The first phase is too easy, and the second phase is too hard. You'd think he'd at least be lenient to his subjects, but even that's not an easy task for him. After you've defeated the Doctor, Misery says she might as well help you escape the island with Sue. Fine and dandy, right? Well, you had better thought otherwise. The Doctor's spirit still remains and possesses Misery and Sue as their eternal punishment. Not sure what Sue did wrong though. The only thing I can at least credit the Doctor for is that he spawned one of the best boss fights in the game, the Undead Core. But does that really excuse this dickish character? Well, yeah, sure. All he did was cowardly run away, kill our friends, destroy the habitat of an entire species, have a really cheap boss fight. Those are perfectly fine, right? Well no, that's not excusable at all. And despite that, there's something rather shocking about the Doctor. There are still 3 more characters that are bigger dicks in video games. And that's saying something. A person with a taunting and unlikable personality, annoying challenges, and heartless ambitions is someone that I always have to face when playing this game. And I always keep dying over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Unfortunately, MJS has been driven by the Doctor to the point of insanity.
You know what really sucks sometimes? When you go exploring on a different planet and end up running for your life from a big-ass alien queen that just wants to bite your face off. My name is MOMF Guy, and welcome to my segment on, you guessed it, the Alien Queen. Let's start this tale with a little backstory of the character. In 1979, Fox Studios and director Ridley Scott put together the first Alien that involved a scary alien creature that was discovered on a distant planet by a mining crew. This story would later result in numerous sequels, prequels, and video game storylines. What made this story so unique and fascinating was not that it was a sci-fi movie all by itself, but that it involved a hidden plot that put the lives of humans in danger for the chance to bring an alien life form back to Earth to be used for some nefarious reason. Spoiler alert, as you see in the film, the danger is prevented by the one and only survivor of the crew when the alien being is pushed into space.
Get away from her, you bitch!
This movie resulted in the 1986 sequel Aliens, where it is 50 plus years in the future, and the planet where the alien was first discovered has now been colonized by humans. As you can guess, everything has gone to shite, and it is here where our story really begins. We learn near the end of the movie that each alien is created by a 15-foot tall, extremely dangerous and strong alien queen, which produces eggs disturbingly similar to a termite queen. This fast-paced action horror film was so successful that it ultimately resulted in a series of video games where the player chooses to play as a space marine against the aliens, and in later incarnations as a space marine, a predator, or an alien itself. So why is the queen such a dick? The alien queen is a dick because every time you meet her, she doesn't want to talk things out like a nice guy. She just immediately opens her mouth and another smaller mouth pops out to try to bite your face off. What's the deal? I mean, like, take it easy already. There's no need to bite my face off, baby. We can just sit down, have a cup of tea, put on some Kenny G, and talk things over like a couple of grown-ups. Every time I run into one of these dick bitches, I'm always like, maybe it will be different this time. But no! It's the same story every time we meet. She looks at me, snarls and hisses, and immediately starts chasing after me with that whippy tail thing of hers. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all about the aggressive strong woman type, but I just don't like it when you're at the end of a date, you go in for the kiss, and this huge tongue with a sharp pair of teeth on the end of it pops out and drips slobber all over my face. I guess I'm just not into the whole biting thing. So what makes this character interesting? The Alien Queen is interesting because in all the video games, the character is ultimately a boss or pair of bosses you have to fight and defeat, or if playing as an alien, defend in some fashion. In one of my all-time favorite first-person shooter games, Alien vs. Predator 2 from 2001, there is a part at the end of the Space Marine mission where you have to defeat the Alien Queen single-handedly, then run for your life as you suddenly get swarmed by a shite-load of regular little aliens and two huge Alien Queens running at you at the same time. I have to give it to the creators of these first-person Alien Predator crossover games. They sure do know how to keep you buying these games. The last AVP game I played on the very awful Steam platform was the 2010 Aliens vs. Predator, which like many forerunners of the game allowed you to play as a Marine, a Predator, and an Alien, each with their own missions and behind-the-scene agenda plots. While in my opinion not as good as the previous 2001 Aliens vs. Predator 2 and expansion pack Primal Hunt from 2002, the game does a great job at the end and leaves you on a cliffhanger in the story that suggests the next area you get to go to in the next game will be the alien homeworld itself. This leaves many unanswered questions as to the origin and nature of the alien creatures. In the 2012 movie Prometheus, we are led to believe the aliens were actually created by the alien engineer race as some kind of biological weapon that got out of control. I guess we'll just have to wait until the summer of 2015 when the very anticipated Aliens vs. Predator vs. Terminator vs. Man of Steel vs. Expendables vs. Die Hard comes out. I hope you've enjoyed my presentation. This is MOMF Guy signing off.
Iska freaking fartas. Okay, in order for you to understand why I hate this guy so much, I have to tell you all the things I got to go through. So, the game starts with Siegfried Steel and Soldier on the pirate Cervantes de Leon when Apocalypse happens right after. Well, it's more like a bunch of monsters that can appear to be part of the plot, but it ends up being the complete opposite, and their only purpose is just there to be pointless enemies. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Right after that, we actually come to something plot relevant 6 months later when the Roman Emperor asks Siegfried to kill a giant dude that's using Soul Calibur as a crown gemstone. What is this, Diablo or something? But the thing is, they need the Shards of Soul Edge because it's incomplete, and I don't know if everyone was just dumb back then, but I think it's pretty damn ridiculous that the only person who knows where they are is the court jester. Being the only smart person in Rome, Iska sets up with Siegfried too.
An adventure. Yeah.
And by adventure I mean, get some friends, kill the dragon, kill the pharaoh, kill the ninjas, kill Cervantes, and finally kill the giant dude. Believe me, it's a lot harder than it sounds. Without mentioning the 100 or so enemies in your way, the huge amount of royal annoyances, and the 30 or so times you'll have to restart the level because you die and just through assaulting the wound, the enemies taunt you when you die. Fuck this. Since Soul Calibur is now in the Empress' hands, she tries to kill Siegfried in order to get both Soul Edge and Calibur so she can, guess what, take over the world.
Of course.
And so, the second half of the game begins. In this second half, Siegfried and Iska have to rescue their friends who are trapped in the dark dimension of the Emperor's Soul. And by rescue, I mean fighting dark clones of them, which is totally not a ripoff of the great mates from Super Smash Bros. Pretty damn original. After that, we have to refight the bosses. What? Why? Why do we have to refight the bosses that are supposed to be dead? Okay, Cervantes is not technically dead. Do we really have to fight him 3 times? Not to mention, you also have to beat Siegfried's Shadow and Nightmare. And in case you're wondering, yes, they're a pain in the ass. Finally. After all that, you finally get to defeat the Emperor once and for all, and have a happy ending. Or do you?
What do you think? Pretty good, isn't it? I made it to look like my sister. I think it worked out quite well. Like I said, it doesn't matter who they are. Everyone betrays you eventually. It's a fact of life. I'm dying to know. Did you like the story about her wanting to destroy everything that threatened her people? What are you talking about? Come on, don't you get it? You were all fooled. By me. The Emperor's philosophy was a lie. The journey you all went on with me was a lie. It was all lies. Lies! If only I'd had power back then, I could have. All I want is to be strong, to have power. I want to have the power to overcome whatever betrayal, pain, or sadness life may bring. That's all there is to it. That's all I need!
Oh my god. So pretty much this guy is a prick, a wuss, a manipulator, and someone that renders all the things you did completely pointless. And that's pretty much why he just sucks and should burn in hell. In fact,
Chaos for any Monsoon is really the only boss I hate in the game. Why? His attacks are incredibly annoying and cheap. Whether it be creating a cloud of fog and teleporting right the hell out of nowhere, making his body parts split apart, pretty much making him invincible, having combos that are incredibly powerful and pretty much impossible to dodge, and channeling his inner Robotnik by throwing some of the most annoying one-liners of all time. However, despite these negative factors, there is a couple of redeeming factors to this terrible boss battle. For one, the music is awesome. The song that plays in this battle is Stains of Time, and I can safely say it's one of the best songs in the game. Just listen to it. And the Blade Mode finisher is satisfying. That's right, eat that! Eat that Blade Mode, you annoying son of a bitch! However, even with these redeeming factors, the fight with Monsoon is still terrible. Monsoon himself is annoying, and his attacks are incredibly cheap and annoying, which is why he is my least favorite boss, and Rising Revengeance is one of the worst boss battles I've ever faced in my entire life.
Pokemon, a fantastic series, and a game series I haven't talked about for some time now. It may be a great series, but it's no stranger for hateable characters. Silver, Ghetsis, you name it, there's a lot. But there's one in particular that definitely stands out from the rest. You know what it is? Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise, it's Gary fucking Oak. Oh yes, that one character that everybody hates. Gary can just be described in one simple word: bitch. At the start of the game, you get to choose your Pokemon, and you get to see Gary there. Now he's all fine and dandy, and then he chooses a Pokemon, and so do you. But then he challenges you to a fight, and he somehow knows what Pokemon you chose, and he chooses the one that counters yours. And keep in mind, you have to fight him 8 times, including the final battle. You'd think it would be Lance, but surprise, surprise, he is the real champion. And it doesn't even get better in the anime. I would talk about the anime, but this is about games, so let's just push that aside. And you even fight him in Lavender Town. Freaking Lavender Town! Oh, don't start with me, just no. And don't even get me started on the line, smell you later! Gary has all of the requirements of a dick. He's annoying, he's immature, he's overpowered in battle. He's somehow telepathic because he knows what you're doing. And, like I said before, he's just a bitch.
You know, when it comes to characters in the Star Fox series, there really aren't many that even come close to hateable territory. For the most part, they're pretty likable, and we've grown to love them in the series. Because for the most part, all of them have likable characteristics, so there really isn't anything about them that makes them reach that asshole section. That really isn't the case for 2 certain characters in the series though, one of them being Slippy. Slippy is easily an annoying little sack of shit that literally needs to either retire or blow up in an accident. He's the main member of Star Fox that gets in trouble the most, and he has to rely on you to save his sorry ass. But you know, despite how much I and many others hate Slippy, he's not an asshole of any kind. And at least give him this much credit: he's nowhere near as bad as Pigma. Yeah, I really fucking hate this guy. I really do. It's bad enough that this guy is a backstabbing, disgusting, mind-numbing sack of wasted space, but before the events prior to Star Fox 64, Pigma was a member of the original Star Fox gang, which included James McCloud, Fox's father, and Peppy. During one of their missions, this guy had the balls to betray the whole group, this resulting in the death of James and Peppy nearly being taken with him. Oh, and you thought that was bad enough? Well, it gets worse, people. Much, much worse. During Star Fox 64, you'll eventually have to face off against Team Starwolf, Team Star Fox's arch enemies. And Pigma is easily the worst part about fighting these guys, because all this fat sack of wasted pork ever does is talk about money and even rubs the death of James in your face. I literally got sick and tired of hearing these insults that I literally mute these battles whenever they come up in the game, because I would rather listen to silence or listen to something on my laptop instead of hearing this douchebag constantly insult you throughout the fight. And if you thought all of the torture ends there, well then guess again, because unfortunately enough for us, he came back in Star Fox Assault. And he gets even worse in that game, because Wolf O'Donnell realized that Pigma was a waste of space, so he threw him out of Starwolf. At least we know that Wolf's an intelligent enemy. Pigma decides to interfere with Star Fox's plan and steals a core memory in the hopes that he could get, here's a surprise, money. Yeah, did I mention that this guy is unbelievably greedy? That alone is more than enough reasons to despise this guy, because the one and only reason that he did all of this to begin with is just for the hope of getting money. So basically, he's the pig version of Mr. Krabs, except he's even more cruel than he is. Yeah, because we really need a person to act like that guy of all people. Pigma is the exact definition of a greedy bastard that backstabs people, and all of his actions in both Star Fox 64 and Star Fox Assault prove his ungodly annoyance. There really isn't much I could say here, people. He's a dick, no one liked him, and he'll never be respected by anyone. Fuck him.
Okay, who's the asshole I'm gonna rant about next? Wait, what? Greenman Vox? But I already explained how much of a dirtbag he is. Can I rant about someone else like Errol, Edgar Ross, or even Joseph Bertrand? John said that. Fine. Let's talk about Greenman Vox. Again. To all of those people who haven't watched my audition to this countdown, I'm just gonna say this. I really hate Greenman Vox. This sadistic bastard cares about nothing else other than earning money and high ratings at the cost of the lives of intergalactic superheroes he captured and forced to fight to the death. One of these heroes being Ratchet. After capturing Ratchet, Vox equips him with a deadlock collar, which can detonate if he thinks about escaping Dread Zone or not giving him the high ratings he wants, forcing him to entertain his target audience and compete with other heroes to the death. Kinda like what Google Plus does to YouTubers. After being the Dread Zone champion, Ace Hardlight, Vox offers Ratchet to be the new Dread Zone champion, but he refuses, which causes Vox to get angry and order the announcers, Dallas and Juanita, who keep giving Ratchet a bad reputation throughout the game, to tell lies about him seemingly killing Ace Hardlight. But not before he sends him to the Ghost Station for one final mission, which was proven mathematically impossible. But if you know Ratchet, you know he clears the base and comes back alive, like a boss. Only to find out that Greenman Vox had set the Battle Dome to self-destruct, planning to kill every single person inside just so they can face each other one-on-one. Why does he want to do that? Simple. He believes that the final battle between him and Ratchet will earn the highest ratings ever. He was even planning on blowing up the station, killing both him and Ratchet in case of defeat. Really, Vox? Is it really worth getting blown to pieces just for some bolts and ratings? You are a total, selfish, sadistic, greedy, no good for nothing, dirty, cheating, soulless, self-centered bastard. I would say to go to the deepest, darkest depths of hell and get yourself tortured the worst possible way imaginable, but I'm pretty sure you're already there since you've just been killed because of your own greed. I'd say that's a very deserving punishment.
Look out, Link! It's Groose and his gang of bullies! Well, well, well! If it isn't Link!
Oh my lord. As soon as you hear that opening melody that sounds more like a fat guy spewing ass odors into a tuba than music, you know that Groose and his fabulous haircut are coming into the scene. Well, Groose, what is there to say about him? He makes fun of Link, hits on Zelda, and steals all his bird. Now, he does help Link later in the game and eventually betters himself, and does overall grow as a character. But here's the thing. The damage has been done. Groose, you screwed up on multiple levels. Groose was an arrogant prick who picked on Link, so he essentially picked on the player. See, when you're playing a game, provided it succeeded in immersing you, which in my opinion Skyward Sword did a great job at, you feel like you are the main character. Therefore, when something happens to said character, you feel it. For example, if something embarrassing happens to the main character, well, you feel like you pushed someone down who looked exactly just like your best friend and said, "Sup, bitch," in a bowling alley. You know, because that's a common example. Anywho, Groose essentially mistreats you. And I don't give a cat's Piccadilly bottom if he developed. He earned his place as a dick. He can be funny, but sometimes you just want him to shut his oversized lips. He's arrogant, condescending, insulting, and the guy can't even back it up. So Groose, you screwed with Link, you screwed with me, you screwed with all gamers. You are a dick. I am Fabtubulous, you are Flabtubulous. Boom, headshot.
Team Fortress 2, a bizarrely stylized, hilariously clever, and admittedly incredible twist on the first-person shooter genre. The great characters, the chaotic action during play, and the overall polish of it makes this one of those special kind of games. The kind that just pays the entire genre its part of a home visit, barges through the door, slaps it right across the face, tapes the bastard down, and asphyxiates it with some fucking air refreshener. Not gonna lie, it's pretty intoxicating. Oh, and what's this? Color? There's color in an FPS? In combination of being remarkably fresh to said stale genre, Team Fortress 2 is just a genuinely entertaining title. It has a simplistic, yet stylized class-based gameplay outline, and wittingly clever humor to boot. All the charm shrouded in this game revolves mainly around the 9 different character classes. A lot of them are fun to mess around with. Some more than others. Scout is, hands down, my main man in TF2. He's fast, sneaky, and about, say, 100 times more cocky than Nikolai Teknis.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal. The class roster in TF2 encompasses a lot of what I believe to be positive character traits. Arrogantly cocky, mentally insane, fucking hilarious in dialogue, and beyond dignified... what am I saying? Engineers are lame. While I like many of the classes, there is one that irritates me no matter how many times I pit it against him. Mentalgen? That goddamn spy. Now, I don't dislike the spy so much for his character archetype. Dare I say, he's probably one of the more amusing characters. But any player of TF2 knows just how much of a killjoy Monsieur Ski Mask really is. No matter how safe you play through it, the spy always finds a way to royally destroy you. Yes, he can kill you with some simple melee weapon like some of the others, but that's not even close to being his worst offensive tactic. First, there's his disguising abilities. A spy of either color can pose as any class on the field. Not only is he an upfront murderer, but he also screws with your damn head. Clever bastard. This, combined with his camouflaging, gives numerous opportunities for the spy to sneak up on you undetected. Oh yeah, he can also completely sap the energy out of your team's buildings. This is especially fun crippling when you're playing as the engineer. Since you, the engineer, set up all these buildings, you feel downright violated when the spy decimates both you and your machinery. It's like Cell slurping up one of your children up into his tail. Not only is it painful, it just flat out bothers you. Not only is the spy a buzzkill in actions, but also through dialogue. By that, I mean his domination quotes are outright hurtful.
Weren't you supposed to be good at dodging, mush-mouthed freak?
God, no need to be such a jerk about it. However, I will give the spy some praise here. While a spy from the opposing team is a complete killjoy, it's very different when you actually play as him. In fact, it's some of the most fun you can have in any FPS title. And that's why the spy is only number 7. I don't play TF2 that often, but whenever I do partake in a few rounds, I can guarantee that every round I'll be screaming at the top of my lungs, "You motherfucker!" Pardon my French.
Now you'd think that a character is often a dick through what they say to your character or how much of a general arsehole they are through the game, but when something like the shamans from Mad World show their ugly faces, they don't gain notoriety from what they say to you, more so how outrageously unfair they are. Mad World has a very solid combat system that all the other boss fights in the game manage to stick by without disrupting the balance that makes the game so great. The shamans, on the other hand, don't even come close to doing this, often completely ignoring very basic parts of the fight, like hit detection for example. Even so, the basic concept of this fight is still a massive flaw. In a game like Mad World, where you spend levels slicing your way through waves after waves of generic bad guys, the last thing you want is a boss fight that is the exact same, but more glitchy. I mean, the stages in Mad World weren't bad by any means, there were some actually really fun ones in there, but the bosses were almost always the highlight, which might be why the shamans were such a huge letdown. Even so, the underlying concept didn't have to be an unmitigated failure, but the shamans really don't help themselves. In between sloppy hit detection and the game's sudden inability to pick up your Wiimote inputs, and its half-assed design that should be in some sort of Twilight fanfic and execution, you start to wonder what the developers were trying to do. Whatever it was, I guess you could say they failed. And pretty badly too.
Truth be told, we Countdown artists tend to look at No More Heroes and its sequel a lot. One boss in particular has been put in our collective crosshairs so often that screw the pretentious build-up, you all know who it is.
Bart! There you are!
Travis! Took you long enough!
Yeah, it's Bastard Twat Jr. I'm probably going to be treading the same ground that I and a lot of others have tread before, but it bears repeating. This asshole has absolutely no redeeming qualities about him. First off, he may be rank 1 in the UAA, but he doesn't do jack shit for most of the game. He has his henchmen do all the blood work, and by blood work, I mean murdering Travis's best friend in cold blood because of what Travis did in a freaking side quest in the first game.
Do you mind if I mention how stupid I think it is to make a side quest canon to the game?
And let's not forget the fight, which pretty much everyone has covered before. After an attempted mindfuck, the first phase is embarrassingly easy until Jasper's health stops going down and the game doesn't tell you that you need to reach a power struggle to continue. The second phase is extremely cheap because Jasper's combos last longer than your dodges do, which is made even worse because if you're anywhere near the window, you're as good as dead. Then the final phase is just stupid. Not only does he look ridiculous, the camera will fight you every step of the way. And the worst part is that apparently Suda51 designed this fight to be bad on purpose to make people unsatisfied with following Travis on his quest for revenge. Some people have been using this allegation as a point for defending this guy. Well, you know what? That only makes it worse because Travis has been developing throughout the game, realizing after the fight with Alice that killing has consequences. So if you want to highlight the futility of revenge, do it through the story, not the gameplay. You know, like you did in the first game.
I don't want to do this. I mean, like, really don't. This character is so wretched, so destructive, and so fucking evil that I had no choice to put him here. I don't care that it's predictable. I don't care that I've already talked about him in a previous countdown. I don't give two shits! And the problem is that it comes from such a perfect game. But you're probably getting sick of staring at a blank screen, so I'll just come out and say it. Motherfucking Dorman. I'm not taking anyone's shit for this. I don't care if you disagree. Sorry, this guy just really brings out the bad blood in me. Dorman comes from the quite masterful shadow of the Colossus and somehow manages to combine every single disgusting thing about humanity, or non-humanity for that matter, and I can't stand him. At the beginning of the game, the main character Wander is seen mourning over the loss of his girlfriend that they never really name. Suddenly, he's disturbed by an ominous voice telling him that there is a way to resurrect her. Meet Dorman, everybody! Or, as I called him in my first playthrough, Ceiling God! He tells Wander that if he wishes for his girlfriend to be brought back to life, he must destroy 16 hulking monstrosities that plague the land, and if he does that, he will be reunited with her. So you go around doing it, And over time, you slowly start to doubt your motives. This guy is a person you literally just met, so how do you know you can trust him? These are mostly passive creatures, and the majority of them don't even attack you until provoked. Why would someone who's offering to help you tell you to destroy such peaceful creatures? They don't do anything, they just live! These doubts are proved to be right when Dorman reveals that all of them held a seal on him, and since you've broken it, he now possesses you. And just to fill up the douchebag measurement, he also doesn't bring your girlfriend back to life. That's all you need to know. Dorman, this piece of shit, sent you around killing peaceful creatures, made a fake deal with you, and doesn't even keep that deal. What a tool! He made your life a living fucking hell for nothing. I hate this piece of shit. I hate him so much. If hatred could kill, Dorman would be dead. I hate him so much! Sorry. Back on topic. So, with all of these completely hateable qualities, is it any wonder why I put this guy at number 1? And you know what's the worst thing about all of these characters? There are people out there exactly like this. There are, in real life, sadistic sons of bitches who care about nothing more than bringing complete chaos. And honestly, it sickens me. I'm just glad there are people who balance it out, people who do care about bringing joy. But if you are one of those people, someone who takes pleasure of others' misery, then I think I speak for every good person on Earth when I say that you should do the whole fucking world a favor and drop dead. But let's focus on the positives of life. There are always going to be people in your life that care a lot, so just try to find them. So, I hope you've enjoyed. A lot of other people and I have just shared our personal takes on the worst people in the virtual world. And I hope you've enjoyed our misery. This is the Blackish Butler signing off. Take care!